As an avid Mini Cooper owner, I love my car so much, and I think it's the best car and the most exciting car I have ever driven. However, on a recent trip to the motoring city of Detroit, I had the chance to drive none other than a four-door saloon. And this car just happened to be the Alfa Romeo Giulia. So in this video, we're going to review it. If you haven't yet, please check to make sure you're subscribed. My name is Ethan, and welcome to Car Creations. When I think of Italy, I think of their wine, their pizza, and their pasta. However, one thing stands out, and I would say that would be their cars. And this car meets all the Italian stereotypes. It's flair, it's excitement, it's cool, separate styling, how fun it is. At least that's what people have been telling me about this brand. Everyone they build has this soul. It's this unique feeling that gives you when you drive it, which is kind of funny actually, because that's the exact reason why I bought my Mini Cooper. And I know that many of you who also bought Minis, that's exactly the same for you too. But just looking at it gives me this odd feeling for Italian food. So, okay, let's go for a drive. So first thing I'm gonna do is turn this over to D, which means dynamic. And I'm gonna pop her over into sport mode. And this car it's a blast to drive. So much fun. This car is so much fun around the corners. And while it isn't quite as much fun as my hatchback, my Mini Cooper JCW, it's still pretty close, which is amazing for a heavy four-door saloon. And part of the reason for this is it has a couple tricks up its sleeve, and that would be the drivetrain. So first off, it has a 50-50 weight distribution. That makes it perfectly balanced as you're going through the corner. It has a double wishbone suspension, and then also it has a carbon fiber drive shaft, which is quite interesting. If you buy the performance pack, you'll get these cool metal paddle shifters, but you'll also get a limited slip differential, and you'll also get electronic suspension, which is basically Alfa's version of dynamic dampers like what our Minis have. Go through the corner. So much fun. Another thing that aids with going around corners is its all-wheel drive system. So when you think all-wheel drive, you kind of think it's not going to be a ton of fun. But what this car does, it puts 100% of the torque to the rear wheels, so it kind of behaves like a rear-wheel drive car. But after it feels a certain amount of slip, it will then transfer 60% or up to 60% of the torque to the front wheels. It kind of helps you go around a corner without too much slippage. Okay, so this is their pizza. That's not too bad. Okay, let's try their fettuccine alfredo with shrimp. It has a ton of flavor, but what also has a ton of flavor is this Alfa. If you come with me over here, let's first of all take a look inside. This steering wheel is so spicy. This steering wheel has really cool shape to it. It's pretty sculpted and looks pretty cool. The seats are shaped really well, so you really stick to them, much like the ones in my JCW. While I'm not expecting this car to be like a Ferrari, I think it could do with a little more styling. There's some like cheap plastics here, kind of remind me of a Fiat or a Dodge. They could have put some Alcantara around the place. They could have made it a little bit more special, feel a little bit more premium for this kind of car. But this car wasn't really for that. It was more for driving and enjoying it that way. So let's get back in it and do some more driving. All right, so let's talk about engine. So this current spec, I picked it because it's actually very similar spec to my JCW. So first of all, it's very similar price. Brand new, it's around 43 to 45 grand, which is what a spec'd out JCW will get you. But also the prices have actually depreciated more than that than Minis. So right now you can pick up one of these for around $25,000 to $28,000, whereas a JCW that's the same age as this are still going around 36 to 38. This current engine in this model, we have a 2-liter inline 4, and it produced 280 horsepower, which is significantly more than a JCW, but it is a heavier car, so it does kind of come out in the wash after all. However, this is the base model, so you can get a car with much more power than this, and you can get a V6 engine. Was co-developed with Ferrari when they developed their V8, so it sounds very similar to a Ferrari-made engine. And that V6 is a 510 horsepower, 2.9 liter engine. It would kind of rival the likes of like an M3 or an M4. Probably the M3 is what they went after when they were building this car. It's crazy to think that a higher horsepower version of this car exists, and especially something with that high horsepower, because this one is already quite fast. It's a 0-60 in 5.7 seconds. It's around 0.4 to 3 seconds faster than my JCW 0-60. And when you drop down a gear, it has this really cool exhaust note that just encourages you to go faster and faster and just go through the gears. The cop just did that. Oh man, he saw me. For some reason, when I was looking at miles, it didn't go into my mind that I was actually that fast over. After all that, all right, so what do I think of this car? Well, it checks most of the boxes that I was looking for at the beginning of the video. So 1, it looks unique. 2, it drives quite spectacularly on these tight, twisty corners. Tight, quick shifts. It has a good engine note even for a 2-cylinder. You probably want to put exhaust on it, but it does sound pretty good. And although the interior is a little bit bland, it does make up for it in its driving abilities. But it's not about the interior of this car, it's about the driving, and it checks all those boxes. This car has a lot of things going for it performance-wise. However, it's actually pretty good for commuting also. It gets around 37 to 44 miles per gallon. It's super comfortable. Seats can go in any direction you want them to. You have a nice heads-up display with 2 big dials. You have a large 8.8-inch, if not bigger, map in front of you. Well, the only one thing is, you're only 2 cup holders. The other thing is, if we just come around back here, the boot doesn't actually have a ton of room. Opening her up. It may be slightly more room than my Mini, but it's actually not by much at all. So that's one downside, and then the other downside is the back seats. There's enough room for 2 adults to sit on either side, but in the middle, not at all. And then this seat automatically rolls back when you get out, crushing the adult behind you. The question I'd like to answer is, would I sell my JSW for this? Probably not. They're very similar in their characteristics. My Mini probably is a little bit more driver's focus on this. This one, it's a lot easier to go over long distances. It's a lot easier, longer wheelbase. You feel more controlled going at higher speeds. But my JCW just has this. It's because it's a smaller car, so it feels like you're driving a go-kart. This doesn't have go-kart handling, so I'd probably keep with my Mini. But at the same time, if you're looking at getting either a Mini or something like this, I would say definitely go test drive one. Go try one out and see what you think of it. All right, so that is our video today. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the description below. And most of all, please hit the subscribe button and like the video if you haven't already. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you all in the next one.